right, good morning and welcome back. Today is going to be probably one of the more difficult lessons we do this semester. So just try to really watch closely. If you get confused, feel free to rewind it, watch a question again. If you have questions, please reach out. So yesterday we started talking about law of sines. And you might not remember, but yesterday, every single time when we did a law of sines problem, if you look here, we always had two angles and a side. Okay, like on this one, we had two of these and a side. On this one, we had two angles and a side. Okay, every single time, that's what we started with. When we have two angles and a side, it's great because you can always find that third angle pretty easily. Just add the two you have up, subtract it from 180, you get that missing angle. However, sometimes we don't have two angles and a side. Sometimes we have a situation like this where we have one angle and two sides. Now, this is going to cause something called the ambiguous case. Okay? If you don't know the word ambiguous, it's kind of meaning like we're unsure of what it means. Could be one thing, could be another. Maybe you've heard it in the world, but ambiguous case, the reason it's called that, in our situation, there are three different options for what could happen if we have two sides and an angle. Sometimes we will find that we have one triangle. If we think of where my cursor is here, this is the angle. If this is our side and this is our side, sometimes it just makes a nice triangle, fits perfectly with where that angle is, it works out. Okay, sometimes the side is too short. It doesn't reach. We need this angle to be there. It won't reach the ground. And if that's the case, you will have no triangle. The third situation, sometimes if it's an angle side and a side, we can have two different triangles that are formed. It could be out like this, or it could be folded in and form a triangle there. Okay, so that is the third case. So last time we did this, we would draw triangles. Today, we don't know which of those cases it is, so we are not going to draw a triangle. We're just going to kind of explore. So the first thing we need to do is write down the information we know. We are told that it's 63 degrees. We know that A is 18. We know little b is 25. Now, since we have to have a pair, I have a pair here. I can use the law of sines, and I will solve for this angle B. Keep in mind, yesterday when we did it, we solved for a side always, so we didn't have to do this. But we will do the sine of 63 divided by 18 equals the sine of b divided by 25. Okay, now to solve this, the first thing you want to do, we'll cross multiply. So multiply 25 by the sine of 63, divide by that 18. Now, when you're using your calculator, remember you have to have it in degree mode. So if you're not sure if it's in degree mode, go to mode. I'm already in degree mode. If not, arrow down, arrow over, hit degree, hit enter. To get back, hit second, quit. Okay. So once again, we said it was 25 times sine of, 25 times the sine of 63. I'll close that. All that divided by 18. We get 1.23. Now, whatever we get, that would be equal to sine of b. We need to take the inverse sine of our answer, and that will tell us what angle b is. So to do this, hit second sine, then second. Right, see here, right here on this negative sign, it's ANS. That stands for answer. Okay, so when I hit that, close it. That's saying it pulls the answer from the previous question right there. Okay, I hit enter, and we got an error. Okay, the reason we got that error, if we think, look at these three pictures, which of these would be an error? Hopefully you know that means no triangle. Okay, it doesn't mean we did it wrong. It means there is no triangle. So I'm going to put no triangle. Okay, on to the next one. We don't need to worry about this. This is only if we get a triangle, we have to do something to check, is there a second triangle? We will not have to do that now. So, because there was no triangle. Example 2. Once again, fill in what you know. So I know this is 98 degrees. This is 39. B is 22. Okay, at this point, once again, we'll start it the same. So the sine of 98 divided by 39 equals sine of b divided by 22. Okay, we multiply and then divide. So 22 times, 22 times, we said it's the sine of 98 divided by that 39, hit enter. Now we have to take our answer. So second sine, second answer, close the parenthesis and hit enter. And once again, that is the inverse sine of our answer. And let's go ahead and get in the habit when it's an angle we are solving, we're going to round to the nearest whole number. So b equals 34 degrees. Now, anytime this happens, if there is a second triangle, you know they will be supplementary. Supplementary means these two angles would have to add up to 180 degrees. So over here, let's take what we got, 34, and we'll go over here and check. Now, to check, first, let's fill in what we already know. So 98 degrees still is there. A is 39, B is 22. Now, to find what angle B is, we take 180 minus whatever we already found. So in our case, we just got 34. 180 minus 34 equals, and if we do this, we're going to get 146. Now, we can go on and solve for what angle C is. We have two angles. Some of you might notice a red flag. What is 98 plus 146? And hopefully you know if we add that up, we're going to get 244. So if we would take 180 minus that to find what angle C is, we're going to get a negative answer. Negative 64 is our answer for angle C. If you think about it, hopefully you know that is not possible. So there is no second triangle. This is not possible. If you get a negative, that means something's wrong. There's no second triangle. Now we do need to go back and solve for the rest of the first triangle, which does work. This is a case where we have one triangle. So we have 98 and 34. Let's add those together. 132. We'll take that away from 180. And we'll get 48. 48 degrees. To finish this out, you can either use A or B. Just be consistent. If we choose 98 degrees, we have to use 39. If we choose 34 degrees, we have to use 22. So the sine of 98 divided by 39 equals the sine of 48 divided by little c. We'll cross multiply, divide. Just make sure when you cross multiply, these are the two you multiply together, and then divide by the sine of 98. So if we do this, it's kind of in the way there. We'll do 39 times the sine of 48, and then take that divided by the sine of 98. And we get 29.26. So if we round to the nearest tenth, 29.3. All right. That was our second situation. Now we have one other situation. So let's take a look at this third one. Once again, we'll fill in what we know. So this is 22. C is 21. Big C or angle C is 72. So we start off sine of 72 divided by 21 equals sine of B divided by 21. We'll cross multiply, divide by that 21, and we'll take the inverse sine of whatever we get for our answer. And we'll find what B equals. Okay, so once again, let's do that. So 21 times the sine of 72, close your parenthesis, divided by 21. I made a mistake. I put 21 two spots. I should have put a 22 right there. So let me fix that. Because the 21 was under 72, 22 is under angle B. Okay, so 21 times the sine of 72. All of this, man, I'm really struggling. 22 times the sine of 72. All of that divided by 21. Okay, Then we take second sign, the inverse of sign, second answer, close your parenthesis, hit enter, and we get 85. If we round to the nearest whole number, 85 degrees. Now, we have to check for our second triangle. To do this, once again, we fill in what we know, 72 degrees, 21, 22, 180 minus that 85 will result in 95 degrees. We can check, is this possible? So to do this, let's add 95 plus 72. We'll get 167, take that from 180, and yes, it is possible. Left with 13 degrees. Okay. Now we need to check what is side A on that second triangle. So it doesn't matter if you use column B or C, whatever you choose, just be consistent. If I use C with 72, I need to use 21 on the bottom. So sine of 13 over little a, we don't know. And go ahead then and we will solve that. So we will take 21 times the sine of 13 divided by the sine of 72. Close it, hit enter. And if we round, we'll get 4.96, so that becomes 5.0. Okay, we're almost done. The final thing we need to do now is finish that original triangle. So our original one, we had 85 and 72 as our two angles. 157, we take that from 180, and we are left with an angle of 23 degrees. We're almost done. Choose either column B or column C. I'll use column B. And the first thing we'll do is multiply. So 22 times the sine of 23, all that divided by the sine of 85. Close it and hit enter, and we will get 8.6. So as you can see, this one was much more lengthy. When we have to find two triangles, it takes a lot longer. Okay, I promise this last one is much quicker. I'll just show you real quick one more. So 2, 1, 50. We'd set it up again, sine of 50 divided by 1 equals the sine of, we don't know, divided by 2. We cross multiply and then divide. And then we'll take the inverse sine of whatever we get for our answer. And so we do this. So 2 times the sine of 50 divided by 1. Then take second sine and second answer. And we get an error. So hopefully you remember that means error. That means there is no triangle. All right, there are 3 of these on Delta Math to do. When you do the Delta Math problems, it's a little weird how it has it. Let's just talk through. If it's going to ask for what are the possible angles of like angle B. Now, if you were doing it and you get no triangle as your answer, then leave it totally blank and submit it. Now, there are 3 Delta Math ones. I picked them specifically. I think I gave you 20 chances on each. So if you start answering and it's just not working out, don't just keep guessing. Wait and ask for help. I will help you understand it. Just come talk to me or send me an email. If you get no triangle, though, on Delta, you leave it totally blank and just submit it blank. It will count it right. Okay, if you get one answer, say like on example 2, we got 34 degrees, 146 did not work. Don't put 146 in, just put 34. Also, it's going to ask you to round to the nearest whole number. If you don't round to the nearest whole number, it will count it wrong, okay? Then finally, if it's like example 3, you would put 85, 95 and submit it. So if you need help, please let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. And if you need help, please reach out. Talk to you later.